All right, welcome to GT 100, the podcast, where we're going to start something new here. It's called One Question, and it's an NFL question. We'll do a couple of these a day. And the NFL question today on the 100 is can Dan Campbell and the Lions repeat the success they had last year? Good question. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that here real quick. And we'll start off here with their schedule. They got a tough schedule for those that haven't seen the schedule. They'll start their week one at Green Bay, then they'll play Chicago, and then at Baltimore, and then they'll play Cleveland, and then at Cincinnati and at Kansas City back to back on the road, tough games. Then they'll play Tampa Bay, Minnesota will be a division, and then they'll play at Washington and then at Philadelphia. Whew. And then they'll have three home games versus the New York Giants, the Packers, and the Cowboys. Might be all three winnable there for the Lions. And then they'll travel to the Rams, the LA Rams, and then they'll have a home game with the Steelers. I think they can win that one. And then they'll finish off on the road with Minnesota and then at home versus the Bears. So that's a very, very tough schedule for me. Those five games: Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Washington, and Philadelphia. If they don't win any of those games, they've already lost five. Not to mention, I think their division. I do think Detroit could win the division, but I think it's going to be tougher this year. I think Chicago is going to be better, and better. I mean, I don't think they'll win the division, but they could beat them and not get swept. I think Ben Johnson is going to. I think we're going to see the better version of Caleb Williams. So you got to worry about that. But I think Green Bay will be a lot tougher, especially if Jordan Love can stay healthy. And then Minnesota's tough, but they'll have JJ McCarthy. So I'm not saying that Detroit won't win the division, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher to get there this year, not to mention the other teams they got to play. So a tough schedule for them. And a couple of other things, losing both coordinators. Ben Johnson now gone. He is with the Bears, and then Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, now with the Jets. So when you lose coordinators, most of the time the team struggles a little bit, right? It's either at the start of the season and they kind of pick it up mid-season toward the end. Sometimes they struggle all year. Then they come back next year. The next year playing better. I mean, we saw Philadelphia when they lost their coordinators. Boom. Then last year they struggled bad, right? So we've seen both sides. So I think, there's going to be a little bit of a struggle there. But the biggest thing for me is Jared Goff, because now the new coordinators for Detroit will be for the offense is John Morton, and for the defense, it's Kelvin Shepard. So we're not going to talk much about them. I got to do a little bit more research, but remember those names: John Morton, offensively, he's the offensive coordinator. I'm sorry for Detroit, and Kelvin Shepard is the new defensive coordinator for Detroit. So remember those names. We'll talk more about them here in the upcoming weeks. But I think when you lose the coordinators, it changes a little bit, right? And then you add, I think, because to me, Jared Goff is not a top five NFL quarterback, although he played like one and he was really good. A lot of that had to do because he played under Ben Johnson, who I think is one of the brightest offensive mind in the NFL today. That's why he's a head coach now. Now, can he perform like that, not having Johnson as his coordinator now? Because things will change. How much will they change? I don't know. But there's got to be some chemistry there. Because Goff is not, I consider a top five. Yeah, I think he's going to struggle a little bit. Now, he might be able to pick it up. Maybe he won't struggle at all, but I don't see him very athletic. So it's going to be very interesting losing Ben Johnson offensively. What and how this is going to affect Jared Goff moving forward. So those are all the key reasons why I think they're going to take a couple steps back. Again, I'll say this. I'm not saying that they won't win the division, but it's not going to be as easy as it was last year. And I think they're not going to their record is not going to reflect. They're going to lose more games this year than they did last year. So I still think that they are a playoff team in the NFC, but I don't think they will be one of the top teams in the NFC. So we'll continue to talk more about the Detroit Lions, but that schedule, losing those coordinators, a lot of things going against them. How would that affect Goff? I think you're going to see the Detroit taking a step back maybe 2 or 3 steps back, but they're definitely, I don't see them having the same success or better this year coming up as they did last year. In the comment section, when you watch this video clip here, let us know what you think. If you think Detroit will be as good or better, or do you think, like I do, and they're going to take a few steps back this year? Let us know in the comment section below. Talk to you soon.